Well, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video. It's been 4 weeks since I did the last one, and last time we were busy drilling all the winter wheat, including this field and including with that John Deere zero-till drill, that direct drill, that disc drill, and this is the result. So I thought I'd start here and we'll have a look at how it looks. I'm also in this video going to show you some other areas that haven't done so well, because the key thing that's happened in the last 4 weeks is it's rained. It has just been crazy October and into November. We've recorded 135 mil of rain since this wheat was put in the ground, a crazy amount of rain. So I'm going to talk about that and the effect that's had on the farm. I'm also going to look at red tractor, and there's a big debate in the farming community about the red tractor logo and how it's changing. They're trying to introduce a green initiative that just came out of the blue. They say it's voluntary, but you sort of know it's going to be something you're going to have to do, and the farming community are up in arms over it. So I'll explain what that's all about. It's about compliance and what farmers have to do to continue to supply wheat into the food trade. But kicking off with this wheat here, it's great, this direct drill. It's sort of a completely different look to the Claydon. If you look down the rows, you can sort of see it in the sun. They are absolutely precision lines. This is the thing with this disc drill, is it puts a slot in and then puts the seed into the slot. You can see how sad the soil is, because this soil has not been moved at all. Sorry, it's a windy day. The wind seems to be getting up since we pressed record on the camera, which is what happens. But it is come up very uniform, and it's going to be very interesting as the year progresses how this direct drill wheat performs, because we've done nothing to this field. This is literally combine pulled out, left grown, glyphosate, took the weeds out, and then came in with this direct drill. So there's a big saving in costs if this works. Now, we did actually finish this field off with the Claydon. There's a tram line there, but here is actually cultivated with our normal way of drilling. This is a cultivator drill, and so this soil has been moved. So I'm really interested in this particular field because it's got both ways of drilling wheat, and we'll see which works best on this farm, whether it's worth spending that little bit more, burn a little bit more diesel by drilling with a tine drill like this, or move on to the disc drill like we got next door. I'm going to quickly show you the field next door, because we've had to incorporate much more straw there, and I'll show you how that's gone as well. Now this is all done with a Claydon, and this is the first wheat, and it looks fantastic. Everywhere I look, I mean, if you look over that wall there, I mean, that is absolute picture over there. Couldn't wish for better. It's so odd this year. 2023 is a very peculiar year from a farming point of view. Highs and lows, and we were right on it for the drilling. I wanted to get it in early. I was worried it was a wet year. I had no idea how wet it was turned out. We've, as I say, 135 mil of rain since this went in the ground. Farmers in the UK have, unfortunately, have had terrible rain, way worse in other areas, 200 mil of rain, and in the really major grade 1 land areas of Suffolk, East Suffolk, there's Lincolnshire, there's these drains, flood drains, that have not been maintained by the Environmental Agency, and there is flooding like there should not be in this country in 2023. And it's a lot of the major production of wheat, potatoes, all our root crops, etc., are underwater at the moment. My heart goes out to them. It's demoralising when you go through all this effort to put the crops in, and then it floods for no fault of your own, just lack of spending, and you lose the crop. I've noticed in the press, we're just early days, it's only, 4th of November today, that the wheat price is already starting to go up for 24 harvest, because there is concern whether how much damage this recent rain has been done, because it's not only in the UK, it's been Europe as well. So we'll have to see. You can get now £200 off the combine for the wheat I'll be harvesting in August 24. This year, if I was to sell winter wheat, if I had some in the shed, £176. So you can see the difference, the spread between next year's harvest and this year's harvest. But this is all the winter wheat. And the other thing we did, obviously we managed to get it rolled, and this field and all around here, I will not be going anywhere near it again until we sprinkle some fertiliser on it in late February, early March time. I wish I could say all 250 acres of wheat I put in look like this. It doesn't. So let's go and have a look where we've got issues with the wheat. Haven't quite got to the worst bit of wheat yet, but this wheat is actually looking very good all the way through, and I'm very pleased because it's the biggest field on the farm. And I can't get over how there was so much straw here. I was very concerned that the drill wouldn't cope with the amount of straw here. You look at this 4 weeks after drilling and you think, well, what was I worried about? But anyway, lesson learnt there. I want to find you some weeds in here because you can see how the herbicide, we put this residual herbicide, as it's called residual because it stays active for a while right through the winter, and it has a very distinctive way of operating. You can see that the weeds have taken up the chemical, and I can't find any. Every now and then I see some, but since coming out here, come on, there's got to be some I can show you because it's double drilled. Here we are. Right, there's one just here. You can just see that we're not quite sure what it is. But you can see it's being knocked out, and there. It's a bit poorly. The plus side of all this rain is there was very good take up because that must have picked it up from the roots, and then it knocks out basically the growing tip on it, and that's why it's sort of that white look. So that tells me that the herbicide is working. I don't want too much more rain because then it will get washed away and sort of diluted, but I'm very pleased to see that. But as you can tell from the rain we've had, there's a puddle there. I've never seen a puddle there in that field, but that's what we've got this year, that you get to something called field capacity, and the water just can't, the soil just can't take any more, whatever we do about the structure. And I know some of you will comment, well, why don't you put drainage in? We're on Cotswold brash here. This is very good draining land. It's purely because there's so much rain, it just can't disappear quick enough. And if you look at this field, well, there's a lot more. This is one of my wetter fields, has a higher clay content. And this is one, unfortunately, of my problem fields. If you look there, there's sort of bare areas appearing in this field. And I was concerned because it is a heavier soil, and it's trying to get that super fine tilth when you're putting the wheat in, and you just end up a few lumps if you've got this clay content and you've got a little bit of wet soil underneath. You don't want it. The rolls take some of it out, but they can't do everything. And here I can hear it squelching as I walk across here, and it's just basically in some areas it's there. That is wheat that's drowned. It's got so wet, it's just had enough. And this is all very sad. I don't know if you can hear that. And there you go, that is Soden Soil. And it's just, yeah, the wheat has gone. Some of it could be slugs as well. I've put a slug dressing on when we were rolling this field, and I've actually been out here again and put a second dressing on, because when you get this, and this much rain, I can't re-drill it. This had latitude dress seed on it, and that's very expensive. £100 a hectare, and then £56 for the pre-emergent on it. All the effort of re-drilling, and these soil conditions, you just can't re-drill on this. This will take forever to dry out, if at all. It's just gone. So that's this is my casualty area. There's always something, this challenge with farming. 250 acres gone in. I think I've lost about 10 acres of wheat. As a percentage for this year, that's not too bad going. Some people have lost 35% of their ground to this, just purely because of this crazy weather we've endured in October, etc. Now, moving on, red tractor. Big debate in the farming industry about red tractor. What is red tractor? Well, it's a compliance thing. It was sort of came about because of BSE, when we had that nightmare when we discovered some of the cattle feed had that bone meal in it and it transmitted this disease of BSE. So they introduced this thing which was basically traceability. It meant all farmers had to record where they bought feed from, for me as an arable farmer, when we put the seed in, when we went spraying, what we used for spraying, all the way through the season, timing, so everything you could tell what you'd done on the farm, and the same thing with livestock movement records, etc. And it's not a best light scheme. You have to do it basically to sell wheat into the market in the UK. Why it's not liked is because it is only UK farmers that have to do this, and the wholesale food industry imports food left, right and centre. If you're making milling wheat, you're bringing in wheat from Canada, etc. Nothing, none of this compliance takes place, so they can mix our compliant red tractor wheat with wheat they've bought from elsewhere in the world with no compliance, no traceability, and that's all fine. So we're thinking, well, hang on a minute, why are we going through all this rigmarole when you just buy wheat from anywhere and just mix it up? So it's not liked because of that. We don't get a premium because we've gone through this and how we've complied with the red tractor regulations. And then out the blue, a few weeks ago, they said, oh, we're going to have a green element now, greening element and linked to SFI. So we basically, in simplistic terms, we want to know how many trees you've put in, how much wild bird mix you put in, that sort of thing. And the farmer was saying, hang on a minute, what on earth has that got to do with me supplying you with high grade wheat? There's nothing. How many trees I've got on the farm or how much wild birds, doesn't matter. And they're saying, well, it's linked to the SFI and the retailers will like it. Well, they're going to pay us a premium for all this information and us complying doing this? No, there's no premium for it. It's just something else to bolt onto it. So we're saying, hang on a minute, we're doing so much work already on this red tractor. You're not supplying any sort of premium towards it. You're mixing it with non-compliant food. We can't do anything about it. You just look for the cheapest option. We're not doing it. So the whole farming industry said, no. So NFU got involved. It's going to be a very interesting sort of pitch, see how it all pans out as the months tick by. But it's the first time I've sort of seen a rebellion within UK farming. We have enough issues. Weather, as you can see in this field, the drop in area payments, this dash to how we're going to go greening and reduce CO2s and stuff. And now there's yet more compliance we have to do, more paperwork, more, what's it matter how many trees I have on the farm? Do I only go to retailers? Or unless you drive an electric cars and you go on the peloton every day, I'm not shopping at your shop. It's just a nonsense. So yeah, that's what's going in the farming community. It's a big debate, and no doubt will rumble on for a bit. But so there you go, there's an update on what's happening on Harry's farm. It's sort of all right. I mean, I've got some really good wheat around the place. I really don't want to be looking at this field for much longer. It depresses me. But yeah, I'm in a better position than an awful lot of farmers in the UK. So I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming along very soon.